Welcome to this brief overview of TimeControl, the multi-purpose timesheet designed for your entire organization. TimeControl is published by HMS Software based in Montreal, Canada. HMS has been around since the early 1980s. In fact, our very first project was deploying a project office that included both a customized timesheet system and project management software for Philips Information Systems. HMS has been partners with numerous project management software vendors over the years, and we released our own system, TimeControl, as a commercial product in 1994. HMS is a partner with Deltek, with Primavera, with Oracle, and is well known through both the project management and timesheet industries. In 2010, HMS released TimeControl 6. We've worked on a wide variety of projects over the years. Some of the best known projects in Canada and abroad have had HMS involvement, including the CF-18 fighter aircraft upgrade, power projects in James Bay, nuclear projects working with Ontario Hydro. We've worked on defense and aerospace projects, and oil and gas projects such as the Hibernia platform. Whether projects are large or small, HMS has experience in deploying timesheet systems. When we talk about timesheets, we have to ask first, what do you mean by a timesheet? And there are numerous timesheet types of solutions. Probably the most popular kind of timesheet is for time and attendance. In this kind of system, the timesheet really looks at whether you were working or not. And if you were working, should you be paid? If you were not working, should you be paid for that time off? Time and attendance systems may also look at what time you started and ended the day. Time and billing systems also very popular, typically with a professional market. In this industry, such as for accountants, for consultants, for lawyers, we need to track what was done with the time against which client, with enough detail that we can generate an invoice later. In the project management industry, we're looking at timesheets not just to be able to cost work that's been completed, but to progress it as well. One of the things that we look for out of a timesheet system is the ability to look forward with an estimate to complete and an ability to track work against a planned task so we can do budget versus actuals. And in this day of good governance and government standards, timesheets may also be required in order to comply with any one of a range of different kinds of accounting or government standards. This might include the Defense Contract Audit Agency, Sarbanes-Oxley, the European Work Rules compliance, or a wide variety of other types of standards such as R&D tax credit tracking. The idea of time control was that we could use one interface, one source of entry for all of these types of timesheets at the same time. Time control is a multi-purpose timesheet designed to be extremely flexible to be able to work with these different kinds of systems and different kinds of processes. When we talk about using a timesheet for multiple processes, one of the biggest challenges is to deal with approvals. And time control is one of the strongest timesheets for managing approvals in the industry today. In particular, one of the challenges that we have is what to do with approvals when time needs to be approved by both the organizational axis of a matrix organization and the project or work axis. When we look at this, we see that one kind of approval needs to work along one direction, where an employee's entire week or entire period of time is approved by their direct supervisor. This may involve numerous projects or non-project work. The entire timesheet must be seen in context. When we turn our attention to a project manager, however, a project manager will not be interested perhaps in the entire timesheet, but only those aspects of the timesheet data that is appropriate to them. We have looked at this process in detail since our very earliest days of working with timesheet systems. And HMS created the matrix approval process for timesheet actuals. This is a process that allows both the organizational and the project aspects of the matrix organization to approve the timesheet data within the same process. In order to do that, we make a flow of data that can start from a scheduling system, or from within TimeControl directly, or from other systems to which TimeControl may be attached, such as an ERP or finance system. Information such as charge codes, tasks, resources, assignments, other metadata or conditioning code can be brought into the system. All of this to allow the end user to do a very simple timesheet entry. We can pre-populate a timesheet with work that that person was expected to do this week, so that they simply enter in the total hours against those charges, or we can leave the timesheet blank. All of that so that the end user can quickly get in, complete their timesheet, and get out. As soon as the timesheet is completed, when it is released for approval, TimeControl first applies any automated validation rules. These are business rules that are applicable to that particular timesheet. And if there's anything that needs to be corrected, the end user can correct that immediately. And then TimeControl timesheets can be approved through an unlimited number of levels of manual approval. Once that has been approved, we can send information immediately to the finance system, and the project manager can make any adjustments that they may need to make to the data before it is sent back optionally to the project system. This works for a very small number of projects, it works for a very large number of projects, and a very small number of people or a very large number of people. Okay, well, enough about talking about it. Let's take a look at TimeControl 6 in action. Okay, here we are in TimeControl 6. I've logged into TimeControl as Gail Robinson. Gail is an individual who has certain rights inside TimeControl and perhaps not others. Gail is looking at her My TimeControl dashboard, and she can elect to start TimeControl here or really to start from a whole range of other places. We can see she has a couple of missing timesheets, that she's taken no vacation, sick leave, or personal time. There are no timesheets which she has underway. There are some announcements. But basically what Gail would like to do is to go into the timesheet area. And that's represented here by a number of different tabs at the top of the page. When Gail goes to the timesheet area or to any of the tabs, she's shown information to which she has access. In this case, she sees we have several timesheets that are outstanding, and she can filter that list to show only certain timesheets. But we're going to go add a new timesheet. And TimeControl will prompt Gail for the next appropriate week in which to add a timesheet. She can copy from a previous timesheet. She can look at timesheets that might be missing for her, but we'll just click on OK. Now in Gail's case, we've set TimeControl to preload timesheets with timesheet records that are appropriate to her. This can come from a project management tool like Microsoft Project. It can come from a list of things that are appropriate for Gail. In this case, we've added some project information from the Boat Show project and information from the Polar project and some internal charges. And so these are all preloaded for Gail. She can go to one of these records and say she'd like to edit now that line. She doesn't need to look anything up. She can say, well, on Monday I spent a little bit of time. Tuesday and Wednesday, that was about half my day, and now save that line by clicking on the little save icon. She might say that she worked on some general meetings and add that to the timesheet. And so we can see that that now gets saved as well. And so by clicking on the lines that have been preloaded for her, Gail can quickly add up the remaining hours in her timesheet and fill in the timesheet with whatever fills in a 40-hour week, which is what is for Gail the appropriate amount. Information can be entered here as full hours, as we did, or as partial hours, like 4.5, or as hours and minutes. TimeControl will accept all of those. Gail can enter in information for the entire timesheet as a note. She can expand any of these records to show additional information, as we see here. So for this record now, we can see charge information, activity details, even Primavera steps and notes can be added here, or expense report items could be added here for this line. She can explode as many of those items or as few as she likes. Now in Gail's case, we're looking at days of the week, but this timesheet description can change. We could show the date instead of the day. We could show the timesheet as hours and minutes or as decimals. We could even say which fields do we wish to appear here, and clicking on that will change for Gail how the timesheet will appear. Now for Gail, there's not much else to do except to release this timesheet for approval. She has the ownership and control of this timesheet that she has created now. Then it's going to Tom Logan, her supervisor. So let's say yes, we do wish to release this timesheet. And when we do, in the background, TimeControl will now validate the timesheet against any validation rules, any business rules that are appropriate to Gail. And if it passes, as it has here, then we can see that the owner was Gail, but now it's Tom Logan. Tom now controls this timesheet. Gail, in fact, cannot insert or add any lines to this timesheet anymore. She can unrelease it. She can take it back for a short time until Tom has touched it himself. When Tom does that, Gail will no longer be able to get into the timesheet. The last thing is Gail can actually also add here a time request. A time request is a request for time in the future, such as vacation time or time off, that may be appropriate for Gail to do. And we can add a time request here. We can say this is personal time. And we can say we'd like to take that time in October, perhaps an extra day of the week off, and we'd like to take that against our vacation time. Here we go, we have a vacation category. We can add additional categories there. And for Gail, we should add her standard rate. We have this so that Gail could also take this from banked time if she preferred. And we're going to take 8 hours in this request. Let's go accept that. We could have put in some free-form notes. Gail now has a draft request, which is still in her control, and we're going to release that request for approval to Tom Logan. And where that will go now is it will be waiting for Tom to accept or reject that time request. Okay, let's log out of TimeControl now and log back in as Tom to see what things look like when you are a supervisor. So Tom Logan is a supervisor in TimeControl. One of the things that Tom should see are any timesheets that are awaiting his attention, and sure enough, there's a timesheet in that week that we just created, as we'd expect. And so let's go into the timesheet lists so Tom can see what is waiting for him. So now we see a list of timesheets that Tom can see from his department, and sure enough, there's a timesheet from Gail Robinson, which we'd like to view. That is currently awaiting Tom. We keep track of where these timesheets are so that we can do missing timesheet reports when that's required. And sure enough, there's the timesheet that we just made for 40 hours. Tom can now reject that timesheet or release that timesheet to posting so that time can be put into reports, sent back to project management, or dealt with in exports in other ways, such as sending it to finance or to payroll. Sure enough, this timesheet is now available as posting. Tom can move on to his next piece of business. Okay, we're going to log out now as Tom, and we're going to log back in as Joe Gardner. Joe is an administrator for TimeControl, and he should see quite a bit more of TimeControl's menu functionality. The first thing that we see is that when Joe goes to log into TimeControl, he has several options. That's because both Jane Carpenter and Robert Eglinton here have named Joseph as their alternate, as their delegate. TimeControl allows people to temporarily assign their own responsibilities to someone else. For example, if you're on vacation, a supervisor can say, well, this other administrator will be taking responsibility of my TimeControl responsibilities for that period. Joe's going to log in as himself, though, so that we can take a look at what happens when you're an administrator. We can see already that we're seeing things a little bit differently. Joseph has no timesheets waiting for him. We have some announcements. We can see Joe's looking at 4 banks, not 3 of time. And there's quite a number of additional menu functions. One of the things that we see here is that Joe's able to see all of the background tables that we use in order to make things easy for the end user. For example, the list of employees shows our list of employees in this data, including Gail. There's Gail's record. We can see there's Gail's timesheet and sick leave, personal time. But also we can see that there's additional fields here. Just like every other table, we can add an unlimited number of additional fields to TimeControl to be able to track department, location, the type of employee. For charges, we might track a work center code or an expenditure type code that we link directly to the charges. We can also put in information like what filters do we want to apply to this employee, and then what would be the timesheet defaults for things like a new timesheet line. Down at the bottom here, we see the path of approvals for Gail. It's going to go from Gail to Tom and then to posting, just as we did a few moments ago. The administrators can also look at reports in TimeControl. We can have a wide variety of reports, including being able to create our own reports of posted data or of table reports. In this case, we'll just go and create a report right inside TimeControl that is already been defined. We won't take a filter, but you can see that the TimeControl reports look an awful lot like Excel. In fact, they're so much like Excel that we can say put this in for Canadian dollars, and we can make a 2-column report in about as long as it takes us to define it. We can also save this report as Excel. And this is the most common way that TimeControl reports are used for charting or distributed elsewhere in the organization. TimeControl also allows us to link to project management tools, to link directly to finance, payroll services, and so on by creating transaction files for them. If we move data to a project tool, such as Microsoft Project Server, Primavera, Deltek, then we can see the projects that we can link from, and we can see the different options available to us in what we would transfer back to the project management tool. TimeControl can do this on demand, as we're looking at right here, or scheduled information can be moved back and forth whenever we determine is appropriate on a regular scheduled basis, or we can bring items in whenever they're changed from the project tools. One of the other things available to us is to be able to drill down into the data in a very dynamic fashion using something called the Drilldown Analyzer. The Drilldown Analyzer allows us to look at wide varieties of data and then to select that data in a variety of ways. We're just going to take these fields out of the link, and so let's move that down here. Let's take out the project name, and let's just refresh that list. So now we have a long list of data in the system. And by dragging a column to the gray area, we can actually subdivide that data. Now you can see it's all loaded by project and then perhaps by week. And if we go to the very top of the data now, we can see that we have inside the boat show project and then the data project, we have numerous weeks, and we can blow out any of those. We could then say, okay, link that by employee and subdivide yet again, looking at the data yet again. So very powerful tool to drill down into the data to look at specific items. We can add fields here. We can even export this data directly to Excel for charting or further analysis. The idea of TimeControl is that we've created a single system that can be used for multiple purposes to link back to both project management and to organizational tools like payroll services, finance, human resources, and yet something that's very easy to use for the end user. Okay, let's get back to our last couple of slides and wrap things up. Welcome back. Okay, let's wrap up our presentation here. TimeControl is a system that allows an organization to be more efficient, and it can do that in a couple of different ways. First of all, if you know where your hours are being spent, you're able to focus on making sure that your people are working on those tasks which are best for the organization. In today's economy, it's not enough to say how long has someone worked, how many hours have been put in, or how much time did we put in on salary. You also have to know, what did we spend that time on? Did we spend that on the things that we had planned and on the things that will do the best for us? If you have one timesheet system that can be used for multiple purposes, the savings can be enormous. It allows timely data to appear in management's hands to make quick decisions, to be able to be seen in dashboards or linked with other data in order to get a complete picture of where money is being spent in the organization and if it's being spent on the right activities. Is that worth it? Absolutely. If you're able to be more efficient, just saving $1 of operational cost, that can have the same impact as increasing your revenue by as much as $13. And that information comes to us courtesy of a survey done by Randy Myers and appeared in CFO.com magazine. Some of the key features that we've talked about or shown you in TimeControl includes an easy-to-use browser interface and a multilingual interface, something that is included with several different languages, an architecture that supports multiple databases, an ability to track not just timesheets but also expense tracking, the matrix approval process, which we talked about a few moments ago, the ability to do automated business rules and automated validation rules approvals, the ability to track vacation requests or other kinds of time requests such as personal time off, very flexible reporting, dashboarding, ability to drill down and look at the data, links to numerous project management tools, links to ERP and finance tools like SAP and Oracle, and government compliance standards such as the Defense Contract Audit Agency, European Work Rules, Sarbanes-Oxley, research and development tax credits, and more. HMS has numerous technical alliance partnerships. We are a Microsoft Gold certified partner. We are an Oracle Gold partner. We are a Deltek ISV Alliance partner. We have partnerships with some organizations that go back 15 and 20 years. And we're well known in the industry because of our long-standing relationships with those partners that we've been able to work with over the years. Some of our HMS clients that you may be familiar with include clients in a wide range of industries, and you may see your organization on this list or other companies you're familiar with. And we have a dealer network that stretches all around the globe. HMS is located in Canada, but we have representatives in North America, South America, all through Europe, Asia, and into Africa. And just another look at some of the different industries in which TimeControl is in use. Includes engineering and gas, utilities, manufacturing technology, defense, government, finance, telecommunications, even health. TimeControl is a very horizontal solution, and we're well known in a wide variety of industries. Thank you for your time today. If you're interested in finding out more about TimeControl, please visit TimeControl.com. If you'd like to see some of our TimeControl solution pages, go to TimeControl.com/solutions. If you'd like to find out more about HMS software and some of our services, go to hmssoftware.ca. And if you'd like to talk to us some more, go to one of our websites or just email us at info@hmssoftware.ca. Thanks for your time.